I need your help, please subscribe. My name is Tammy Fleer. I'm 35, and being the responsible one has basically been my defining trait for as long as I can remember. I work as a project coordinator for a hospital supply company, which is just a fancy way of saying I fix messes before anyone notices they exist. I pay rent 3 days early because the idea of late fees makes me itch. I track everything, groceries, utilities, even Christmas, on color-coded spreadsheets. Every December, I promise myself I'll keep things simple this time. Every year I fail. But this year I told myself it was different. A one-time indulgence. Just one Christmas where I'd go all out and finally feel that uncomplicated approval from my parents. My sister Jenna, 32, is what she calls between opportunities. Translation: she hasn't kept a job longer than a latte punch card. Her husband Kyle's a contractor who's always about to land something big. A promise that's been pending for 7 years. They have 3 kids under 9, sweet, sticky, loud little whirlwinds who've learned that Aunt Tammy always shows up with the best gifts. I have one son, Max. He's 8, sleeps with a flashlight under his pillow, and calls thunderstorms sky drums. He's gentle, curious, and asks questions that somehow land straight in my heart. Like last year, when he looked at Jenna's mountain of gifts and whispered, "Mom, how come they always get more?" That's when I swore this year would be fair, balanced, and perfectly organized. My specialty. The spreadsheet was a masterpiece. Separate tabs for each child, columns for prices, coupon codes, and shipping dates. The total climbed like a reluctant sunrise. I told myself it wasn't about competing. It was about love wrapped in paper and ribbon. But I knew better. My generosity had become my last attempt at belonging. Because in our family, approval was a group project, one where I did all the work and everyone else reaped the credit. By Christmas Eve, we were driving through a cold so sharp it made the sky look silver. Frost glazed the shrubs outside my parents' old split level, the same house where every holiday replayed like an old sitcom. The little ceramic village glowed on the piano, its fake snow frozen forever. Inside, Mom was orchestrating a ham big enough to feed an army, while Dad was out in the garage in his world's okayest grandpa sweatshirt, humming along to classic rock with a beer in hand. Everything felt familiar, predictable, practiced. Jenna showed up late, trailing vanilla body spray and laughter that rang just a little too loud. "Traffic was insane," she said. "We almost died." She always said that like it was funny. Mom's eyes widened when she saw the pile of boxes I carried in. "Oh, Tammy, you brought way too much." "Deals," I said automatically, like reading from a family script. Jenna's gaze swept over the stack, her smile half sweet, half assessing. "Wow," she murmured. "They're going to lose their minds." She said it like she already owned the credit. We did our rituals, mismatched mugs of cocoa, Dad's annual Die Hard is a Christmas movie argument, Mom pushing food before dinner even started. Max fell asleep on the couch holding a candy cane like a flag. I carried him to the guest room, tucked him under Grandma's old yellow quilt, and lingered by the tree afterward. The lights reflected in the window, creating a double, like a second, better world just outside the glass. I took a photo, maybe out of habit, or maybe I already knew I'd need proof of what came next. The boxes looked perfect. Every bow straight, every tag neatly written from Aunt Tammy. I told myself this is why you do it. Tomorrow will make it worth it. Morning came like clockwork. Dad ringing those old sleigh bells, the kids thundering down the hall, Mom pretending to be surprised that Christmas had arrived again. The living room filled with laughter, torn wrapping paper, sugar in the air. For a moment it almost felt perfect, until Max opened his first gift. A small box. He smiled, hopeful. Inside, a single black pen, the kind you get 5 for $3. He turned it in his hands, confused, searching for a trick. Dad chuckled. Budget was tight this year, buddy. That phrase, budget was tight, hit like ice water. Max tried to laugh it off. Was I bad this year? His voice wobbled. Something inside me didn't explode, it just unzipped. Quiet. Final. Open the next one, I said too brightly. Socks. Gray. 2 sizes too big. Across the room Jenna's kids screamed with joy. Ella hugging her tablet, Liam waving his Lego set, Piper cradling a dollhouse worth more than my car insurance. Jenna filmed everything, chirping, "Best Christmas ever." Her phone never once turned toward my son. Mom fussed with a garland that didn't need fussing. Dad shrugged. We had to prioritize, Tammy. You understand. I didn't. Max clicked his pen, click, click. Soft, relentless. Jenna leaned close, her voice a whisper pretending to be kind. Don't make this a thing, Tammy. It's Christmas. But the thing had already been made. And I've been financing it for years. While paper piled across the carpet, my mind rewound. Last year, the year before. Every time I filled the gaps because kids shouldn't go without. Every crisis became my responsibility. When Kyle's check was late, me. When daycare prices rose, me. When the van broke down, me again. Mom would say, "You're so dependable, honey. We're lucky to have you." Dad's version. Family takes care of family. Translation. Tammy takes care of everyone. I told myself it was love, not leverage. But watching my son hold that cheap pen while his cousins unwrapped gifts I'd paid for, something in me shifted permanently. That zipper inside me? It didn't close again. After the chaos, I helped Mom clear plates, my hands steady though my pulse wasn't. I could hear Jenna in the next room bragging about the gifts as if she'd chosen them. Max sat by the window doodling on a scrap of wrapping paper with that pen. No pouting, no questions. Just quiet acceptance. He drew a little house, a tree, 2 stick figures labeled Mom and me. That's when I decided I wouldn't just make lists anymore. I'd make things right. That night, lying awake in the guest's bed, the ceiling fan clicking like a metronome, I stared into the dark. Max was curled beside me, still clutching the pen. It wasn't about the pen. It was about the look on his face, that confused politeness, the way he'd asked if he'd been bad. As if kindness were something you had to earn. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. Mostly, I wanted to understand how I'd become this, the giver, the fixer, the fool. Before dawn, I got up quietly and made coffee while the house creaked with old secrets. The tree lights still glowed faintly. The floor littered with paper, boxes, and ribbons that didn't belong to my son. I could still hear Dad's words echoing. We had to prioritize, Tammy. You understand? And Mom's practiced hush, sweetheart, don't make this a scene. It's Christmas. As if silence were virtue. As if quiet meant grace. But silence had been the way I disappeared. While cleaning up, I found a tag from one of the gifts, Piper's dollhouse. My handwriting from Aunt Tammy. But when I glanced at Jenna's social media that morning, there it was, photo of the kids with the caption, "We did good this year." Hashtag blessed mom life. No mention of me. My phone buzzed. A family group chat photo. Dad's blurry shot of the kids under the tree. Great morning. So much joy. Mom replied. We're lucky to have each other. Lucky. That word was their favorite weapon. It meant stop wanting more. It meant be grateful for scraps. I thought back to when it started 7 years ago. Jenna sobbing in a parking lot saying, Kyle's hours got cut. The kids won't have Christmas. And I'd said the 6 words that cursed me. I'll handle it this year, Jenna. I maxed out my card at Target that night, loaded a cart till the wheels squeaked. The next morning Mom texted, You're a lifesaver. Jenna's lucky to have you. Lucky. Again. From then on, it was unspoken. I covered Christmas. Then birthdays. School supplies. Ballet shoes. Soccer fees. Van repairs. Rent deposits. Every time I hesitated, Mom had a reason. You make good money, honey. They're trying their best. And when I asked for help, suddenly I was cold or ungrateful. Love in our family came wrapped in guilt. By the time Max started school, I was beyond tired. Not just physically, but spiritually. One spring, I told Jenna I couldn't pay for her kids' swim lessons. I can't this time, I said. She sent 10 texts in 3 minutes. Accusing guilt tripping. Then Mom called, sighing. Tammy, don't be cruel. I wanted to yell, they're not my kids. Instead, I wired the money. Daniel, my boyfriend, once asked why I looked so drained after visiting my family. He said while rinsing dishes, they take something out of you every time. I laughed it off. It's family. But deep down I knew he was right. Still I couldn't stop. Because if I wasn't the helper, who was I? By November, I'd already bought most of Jenna's kids' presents again, the tablet, the sneakers, the art kit. Meanwhile, Max was saving for a second-hand bike he found online. We bought it, sanded it, painted it bright orange. He named it Tiger. When Jenna saw it, she laughed. Ah, vintage, she said, turning to her kids. Not everyone gets new everything. A joke, supposedly. It wasn't funny. The little cuts piled up, her photos captioned, "We worked so hard for this Christmas." My handwriting on gift tags pretending to be from Santa. And the comment from her daughter that sliced me open. "Mom says you buy us stuff because you don't have anyone else." That night, I stood under the shower until the water ran cold. I promised myself never again. I wouldn't buy my way into belonging. I meant it. Until I didn't. Because a week before Christmas, Jenna texted, "We got Max something nice this year." For a brief, foolish moment, I believed her. But when I saw my son holding that cheap pen, I knew the truth. It was never about fairness, it was about hierarchy. And in their eyes, I'd always be the one behind the camera, not the one worth filming. Later that night, I locked myself in the bathroom and gripped the sink. My reflection looked unfamiliar. Tired eyes, pressed lips, a woman trapped between fury and grief. I opened my phone. The photo of the tree, the boxes labeled in my handwriting, Jenna's post, and my Christmas totals note. Every purchase. Every dollar. Every name that wasn't mine. No tears. No rage. Just clarity. Tomorrow I'd make things even, not from spite, but principle. I looked at Max asleep under that old quilt, his hand still curled around the pen, and whispered, "Next year it's different. I promise." But promises weren't enough. It had to begin now. By morning I was done pretending. Not angry, just done. Mom hummed in the kitchen, the smell of cinnamon rolls floating through the house as if the world hadn't cracked open overnight. Dad was in his recliner, scrolling the news, peaceful in his selective blindness. Jenna's kids ran through the hallway, clutching their new toys. All of them bought with my money. Max trailed behind, quiet, the pen still in his pocket. "Morning, sweetheart," Mom said without looking up. "Morning," I answered evenly. I realized the only way to stop fixing everything was to let them see the mess they'd made. Jenna appeared, messy bun, phone in hand. "Everyone loves the Christmas post," she chirped. 100 likes already. I sipped my coffee. "Did you tag me this time?" She blinked. "Why would I?" I stared back. "Because half the stuff in that photo came from my paycheck." Her smile faltered. "Tammy, don't start. It's Christmas weekend. Don't make this a thing." There it was again, the family's favorite command. Don't make it a thing. Meaning, keep swallowing it so no one else has to feel bad. Not this year. I went upstairs and packed our bags. Max's clothes. His coat. One empty tote bag. Brought for a reason I hadn't admitted to myself yet. Downstairs, laughter filled the house again. Music, chatter. The sound of togetherness built on my silence. I stood by the tree once more, looking at the unopened boxes. Each one labeled from Aunt Tammy. My handwriting, my ribbons, my money. A calm, dangerous thought settled in. If it's from me, it stays with me. I could almost hear Daniel's voice in my head. "You teach people how to treat you." He'd said that when I covered Jenna's rent months ago. What are you teaching them right now? That question had haunted me. Now it was my guide. Jenna caught me staring. "What are you doing?" she asked, her tone cautious. "Tidying," I said. She frowned. "Mom spent hours arranging those gifts." "Yeah," I said, lifting one of the boxes, a dollhouse. "And I spent months paying for them." Her face twisted. "Are you serious?" "Completely." I read the tag aloud. "From Aunt Tammy. You see that, right?" She rolled her eyes. "So what?" "They're for the kids. You can't take them back." "They're mine," I said, calm and final. "And I'm done being invisible." Dad finally looked up from his chair. "What's all this?" "Tammy's having a moment," Jenna muttered. I met his eyes. "No, Dad. I'm having clarity." Mom wiped her hands on a towel, her voice soft and practiced. "Honey, please. This isn't necessary. Let's just enjoy the weekend." I can't enjoy watching my son be humiliated while his cousins unwrap my generosity. Silence fell. Even the kids stopped moving. Then my channel. Dad spoke in that familiar tone, the one he used when he wanted to end a talk without solving anything. "Family looks after family," he said. "That's how it's always been." "Exactly," I replied. "And I've been the only one doing it." Jenna's voice turned sharp. "You're being selfish, Tammy. This isn't you." "You're right," I said evenly. "It's not. Not anymore." I began hauling the boxes out one at a time, calm, steady, deliberate. Each dull thud of a box hitting the car trunk felt like another thread snapping loose. "Tammy," Mom cried. "You can't take Christmas from the kids." "I'm not taking it away," I said. "I'm reclaiming what's mine." Dad got to his feet, his face flushed. "Don't be petty. I'm being fair." "Fair?" Jenna scoffed, disbelief dripping from her voice. "You're making a fool of yourself." I stopped in the doorway, the last box in my arms. "You embarrassed me years ago," I said quietly. "You just got used to me staying silent about it." Max peeked out from behind the wall, eyes wide. "Mom, what's happening?" I knelt down to him. "We're going home soon, sweetheart. But first, can you help me check the names on these boxes?" He nodded eagerly, as if it were a game. "Look for the ones that say Aunt Tammy." He searched each box carefully, bringing them to me one by one with the focus of a little soldier. When he handed me the last gift, he whispered, "This one too." "Good job," I said softly. "Now grab your coat." When I stepped back inside for the final time, my parents stood frozen. Jenna had her phone out recording. "Of course she did. You're actually taking them," she snapped. "You'll regret this." "I already regret every year I didn't," I said. Dad's voice boomed. "If you walk out that door, don't come back." I met his eyes. "If you mean that, say it again, because this time I'll believe you." He didn't. So I turned and walked out into the cold, the air biting at my cheeks. Max climbed quietly into the back seat, calm and collected. As I started the car, he looked up. "Can we go get pancakes?" I smiled, my first real one in days. "Yeah, buddy. We can get pancakes." At the diner, the waitress poured syrup that glistened like gold. Max drew treasure maps on napkins while our plates steamed between us. For the first time, I didn't feel happy exactly, but I felt lighter. Unburdened. My phone buzzed over and over. Family group chat. "Mom, bring the gifts back. We can talk." "Dad, you embarrassed us in front of the kids." "Jenna, you ruined Christmas." "Kyle, this is theft." And then the one that stung the most, Mom again. "You only have one child, Tammy. Be generous." I stared at the words until they blurred, then flipped the phone over. "We already are," I whispered to Max. The drive home felt like a long exhale after years of holding my breath. The road stretched quiet and empty, just the hum of the heater and Max tapping his pen softly against the window. He wasn't upset or confused, just peaceful. That alone told me I'd done the right thing. Back at the apartment, I carried the boxes in one by one. Each scrape of tape and bump of cardboard echoed like history repeating. The weight of every favor I'd ever done. Favors that turned into expectations, expectations that hardened into entitlement. Max helped unwrap a few. He didn't ask who they were for. He just wanted to help. "Should we keep these?" he asked, holding up a Lego box. "Some of them," I said. "And we'll find good homes for the rest." He nodded, content, and went back to stacking little box towers. I took a photo, our small tree glowing softly, the gifts neatly lined beneath it, and sent it to the group chat. Message: "Gifts retrieved. We're fine." Replies came fast. "Mom, Tammy, bring them back." "Think of the children." Jenna: "Are you insane? You stole Christmas." Dad: "If you don't fix this, don't come next year." Kyle: "Don't post that. Makes us look bad." I typed only one thing. "Then maybe you should have treated us better." Then I left the chat. I made hot chocolate for Max and me, extra marshmallows. He sat cross-legged on the rug, cheeks pink from the cold. "Mom," he said. "Yeah." "Were they mad?" "A little." "Did we do something wrong?" "No, sweetheart," I said softly. "We just stopped pretending." He thought about it, then nodded, somehow understanding more than I expected. "Can we still have Christmas?" "We already are," I said, smiling. Later that night, after he fell asleep on the couch, my phone rang. Daniel. I hadn't told him everything, only that Christmas with my family might be rough. "Hey, Tammy," he said, his voice warm and familiar. "You okay?" I exhaled, finally. "Yeah, better than I've been in a long time." "Something happened, didn't it?" I laughed quietly. "You could say that." I took back every gift I ever bought them. Every single one. He didn't sound surprised, just calm. "Good," he said. That one word hit harder than I expected. No pity. No judgment. Just good. I keep wondering if I went too far. You didn't, he said gently. You drew a line. They're just mad because now they can see it. I looked out the window. Snow dusted the streetlights, the world soft and still. For years, I thought standing up for myself meant losing everyone. But in that moment I realized I'd never really had them. Not in any way that mattered. I think they'll hate me for this, I said quietly. Then they'll have to hate you from afar, Daniel said. That's their choice. Not yours. Tears slipped down my cheeks, unexpected but clean. Thank you. For what? For not making me feel crazy. You're not crazy, Tammy, he said. You just stopped paying for their denial. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the blinds. The apartment smelled like cocoa and pine. Max sat by the tree, humming as he rewrapped some of the boxes with plain paper we'd bought months ago. He held one up. This one's for the shelter kids, right? That's right, I said, sitting beside him. You're amazing, you know that? He blushed. I just want to share. That word, share, landed differently. I'd been sharing myself with people who only took. But this was sharing with purpose. Around noon there was a knock, sharp and unrelenting. I froze. Max looked up. It's okay, I told him, though I wasn't sure. When I opened the door, cold air rushed in, and there stood Jenna, hair messy, eyes furious. Where are the gifts, Tammy? Inside, I said evenly. Safe. You ruined Christmas for my kids. Do you even hear yourself? I asked. You're mad because I took back what I paid for. It's not about who bought what, she shouted. It always has been, I said. You just liked it better when I stayed quiet. Mom's voice came from behind her. Tammy, please bring them back. We can work this out as a family. Working it out as a family, I said slowly, is how we ended up here. Jenna scoffed. Unbelievable. We even got Max something. Left it at home. What was it? I asked. Her mouth twitched. A surprise. Sure it was, I said. Dad appeared at the end of the yard, arms crossed. You always think money fixes everything. No, I said calmly. You just always expect me to fix everything with money. Jenna's expression hardened. I'll tell the kids you stole Christmas. You already tell them Santa's generous when I am, I said. At least this time the story matches the truth. Her face turned red. You're cruel. I'm clear. I shut the door gently but firmly. The click of the latch felt final. Inside, Max held his cocoa mug with both hands. Was that Aunt Jenna? Yeah. She mad? A little. He nodded thoughtfully. That's okay. We have our own Christmas. We sure do, I said, kneeling beside him. Outside, the snow crunched under angry footsteps. Inside, peace held steady. That night, Max drew another picture. Our apartment, a tree in the window, two stick figures holding hands. He labeled them Mom and me. At the bottom, in shaky letters, he wrote our real Christmas. In the corner, a tiny X. X marks the spot, he said proudly. What's there? I asked. He smiled. Where we're happy. I couldn't have said it better. By the third day after Christmas, the group chat was silent. No guilt texts, no dramatic calls. The quiet felt like the first gift they'd ever given me. Even if they didn't mean to. The apartment was warm and calm. The rescued gift sat beneath our smaller tree, now wrapped in brown paper and red string. Simple. Honest. I wrote new tags from Tammy, from Mom and Max, from us. Some marked for the shelter, others for Max's school drive. It felt right, like all the years of resentment had finally been folded away. That afternoon, Daniel stopped by, 2 coffees, a paper bag that smelled like cinnamon rolls. Morning, he said, stepping in with a smile. You look lighter. I feel it, I said. Like I lost 10 pounds of guilt. He grinned. I saw the family post. Oh God, I groaned. What now? Same drama, he said. Don't worry. No one buys Jenna's version for long. I raised a brow. And her version is? That you stormed Christmas with a revenge list and stole from children. I laughed. Creative. I'll give her that. You don't owe them an explanation, Daniel said softly, setting down the bag. You finally did something for yourself. That's not theft, that's balance. Something about his tone nearly made me cry. Max came running out, waving a drawing. Daniel, look. Our new Christmas tree. Daniel crouched, studying it. Crooked star, bright ornaments, 2 stick figures, and an orange bike. Tiger made the picture too, huh? He said. Max grinned. He's part of the family. The moment felt sacred, quiet, warm, full. That evening I sat by the window with my coffee, watching the snow drift past the streetlights. For years I'd believed love meant sacrifice, that giving more proved my worth. But this Christmas taught me something else. You can't buy respect from people who thrive on your silence. And love isn't love when only one person keeps emptying themselves to prove it. The next morning a letter slid under my door. No knock, no name, just paper that smelled faintly of Mom's perfume. Inside, Timmy, we didn't handle things right. Maybe we leaned on you too much. Please don't shut us out forever. Love, Mom. A small postscript. Jenna cried all night. I read it 3 times. Not because I was moved, but because I wanted to be. But I wasn't. Not angry, not relieved, just distant. That kind of distance that comes when you stop waiting for apologies you've outgrown. I didn't write back. I didn't call. Instead, Max and I took the boxes to the shelter. He carried them proudly, smiling the whole time. Mom, this feels good, he said. It did. We drove home through quiet streets, our little tree glowing through the window as we pulled in. Max ran ahead, his orange bike waiting under the stairs like a guardian. At bedtime, he curled up in my lap, half asleep. Mom, do you think Grandma's mad? Maybe, I said. Sometimes people get mad when they can't use you anymore. He frowned. That's weird. It is, I said, smoothing his hair. But it's okay. He smiled faintly. Next year, can we make cookies just for us? Just us, I promised. After he drifted off, I sat in the quiet kitchen, the hum of the fridge steady and soft. For the first time in my life, choosing peace didn't feel selfish. Felt like coming home. I glanced at 2 photos on my phone, one from that chaotic Christmas Eve, piled gifts and a perfect tree. The other from our apartment, now smaller, simpler, real. And in that contrast, I finally saw the difference between giving and surrendering. I texted Daniel. Pancakes again tomorrow? He replied instantly. Always. My treat this time. I smiled, locked my phone, and looked at our tree one last time before switching off the light. The air felt lighter, as if every ghost of guilt had finally left the room. A year ago, I'd have laughed at the idea of being the woman who took back Christmas. But now I understood it was never revenge. It was a lesson. You teach people how to treat you. You show your child that love without respect is just a pretty chain. As I drifted to sleep, one quiet truth settled in me, steady, sure. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're instructions for respect.